Get comfortable with English in comfort. This is your English listening practice podcast to help you learn and improve naturally.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to English in Comfort. I'm Emily.
And I'm Liam. This is the podcast where you can relax, learn English, even while you sleep, and just enjoy listening. You don't have to do anything. Just lay back, get comfortable, and we'll keep you company.
Every episode, we talk about something new, something you can enjoy while improving your English at the same time.
Today, we're talking about something that can be really hard to deal with. Overthinking.
Let me ask you, do you ever find yourself stuck in your head, going over the same thing again and again?
I think we all do. And sometimes it feels like we can't stop, no matter how hard we try.
So today, we're going to talk about it. What overthinking is, why it happens, and how you can handle it.
Make yourself comfortable. Grab a blanket, close your eyes if you want, and let's get started.
Let's start with this. What do we mean by overthinking? For me, it's when your brain just won't let go of something. You keep replaying it, analyzing it from every angle.
Yeah, like when you're lying in bed, thinking about a conversation you had earlier, and you keep asking yourself, why did I say that?
But we all know what it feels like. But why do we do it?
I think stress is a big one. When there's too much going on, your brain just doesn't know how to stop. It's like it's trying to fix everything at once.
That makes sense. When you're under pressure, your mind is in overdrive. But I think mental health plays a role too.
What do you mean?
Well, for me, as someone who struggles with anxiety, overthinking became such a habit. My brain always jumps to the worst-case scenario, and it's hard to stop.
That sounds tough. I can see how that would make things even harder for you.
Yeah, and it's not just anxiety. Overthinking can also come with depression. Focusing too much on the past and things that didn't go well.
Right. Like your brain is stuck in a loop.
It's draining. But what do you think? Do you have other reasons? Why do people overthink?
I think a lot of it comes down to control. Some people, myself included, feel like they need to control everything. And when you can't, you just overthink instead.
Do you feel that way often?
I do. Like when a project at work doesn't go well, I start overthinking every little detail. What went wrong? What could I have done better? And then I try to fix things by controlling everything the next time.
Oh, that must be really stressful. I mean, you can't possibly be in control of everything, right?
Yeah, I know. But it's hard to remind yourself of that in the moment.
You know what's frustrating? Overthinking doesn't just happen. It makes everything worse. For me, it creates even more anxiety.
How so?
Like, I'll overthink a decision, and instead of feeling better, I just get more anxious about it. It's like the more I think, the less clear things become.
That makes sense. I think it can also make you indecisive. You spend so much time going back and forth that you don't actually make a choice.
Yeah, it's like being stuck.
I had a coworker once who struggled with this. He would overthink everything, and it got so bad he couldn't sleep.
Really?
Yeah. He'd stay up all night thinking about what he should have done differently at work. It was hard to watch because it only made things worse for him.
I believe it. Overthinking doesn't solve anything. It just piles on more stress.
Yeah, the worst part is, you don't even end up with a solution most of the time.
Right. It's like a cycle you can't escape. So, let's talk about how to stop overthinking. I think one of the best ways to start is by setting time limits for decisions.
Setting time limits? What do you mean?
Well, when I'm overthinking, it's usually because I'm stuck trying to make the perfect decision. So now I just give myself a time limit. Like, I'll say, I have 10 minutes to decide, and then I'm moving on.
Okay, but what if it's a big decision? 10 minutes doesn't seem like enough for something important.
Oh, of course not for big things. If it's something major, I might give myself more time, like a day. But I still set a deadline so I don't drag it out forever.
I guess the time limit forces you to stop overanalyzing, right?
Exactly. It's like telling your brain, enough is enough. Otherwise, I just go in circles.
I should probably try that. I overthink even small things sometimes, like what to have for lunch. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I do that too, especially at restaurants. I'll stare at the menu forever, and then I end up ordering the same thing I always get.
Same here. But I think the time limit idea would help me with work too. Sometimes I'll spend hours tweaking something that's already fine. And honestly, even if I take forever, I don't feel any better about the decision afterward.
Yeah, I get that. It's like you're looking for a perfect answer that doesn't even exist.
So, setting a time limit is kind of like giving yourself permission to let it go.
Right. And it's not about rushing, it's about knowing when to stop. Another thing that's helped me stop overthinking is journaling.
Journaling? Like writing down your thoughts?
Yeah, I started doing it a while ago, and it's been a game changer for me. When my thoughts are all over the place, writing them down makes them feel less chaotic. It's like getting them out of my head and onto paper clears my mind.
I guess that makes sense. It's like when you talk to someone about a problem. It feels lighter afterward.
Exactly. But what I love about journaling is that you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You can just write whatever you're feeling, no matter how messy it is.
Do you write every day?
Not always. Sometimes I just grab my notebook when I feel overwhelmed, but I try to make it a habit. Even 5 minutes helps.
Huh. I've never really done that. I mean, I've made lists when I'm stressed, but that's about it.
Lists are a good start, but with journaling, you don't have to organize everything. You just let it out. It's not about being neat. It's about being honest.
That's interesting. I think I'd feel weird at first, though, writing everything down.
I get that. It felt weird for me too in the beginning, but now, it's one of the first things I do when I'm stressed.
So, do you just write what's on your mind, or do you have a system?
I usually start with what's bothering me, like, I'm overthinking this because, and then I just keep going until I feel like I've said enough.
Sounds simple enough. And it really helps you stop overthinking?
For me, yes. It's like once I see my thoughts on paper, I can finally let them go.
I might try that, even if it's just writing a few sentences.
Do it. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for you.
You know what else helps with overthinking? Focusing on action instead of perfection.
What do you mean?
Okay, so this happened at work a while ago. We had this big project, and everyone was stressing out, trying to make it perfect. Every little detail felt huge, and we kept going back and forth, trying to fix things.
That sounds exhausting.
It was. But then our manager just stepped in and said, "Let's stop overthinking and start doing. We'll figure it out as we go."
And?
Honestly, it worked. Once we stopped nitpicking and just started acting, everything came together faster than we expected.
That's so true. Sometimes you waste so much time trying to make something perfect when it doesn't need to be.
And here's the thing. Most people don't even notice the little stuff we get stuck on. Like, in the end, no one cared about the tiny things we were stressing over.
Right. So it's better to just take action and get it done. Otherwise, you get stuck.
Yeah, and when you focus on action, it gives you momentum. Even if it's not perfect, you're moving forward instead of staying in your head.
I like that. It's about progress, not perfection.
Yep. Sometimes you just need to take that first step and trust that things will work out as you go.
So, it's not about getting it right the first time. It's about doing something, anything, to break the cycle of overthinking. You know, earlier I mentioned that mental health issues like anxiety and depression can cause overthinking.
That's true.
So, it makes sense that one way to stop it is by treating the cause. For me, it's about getting help, like therapy. Talking to someone who knows how to help can make a big difference.
Have you tried that yourself?
Yeah, I've been in therapy for a while now. It's helped me understand why I overthink and how to manage it. It's not a quick fix, but it's worth it.
That's good. I feel like a lot of people don't think about therapy as an option when they're stuck in their own heads.
Totally. And it's not just therapy. Sometimes you just need to slow down and give yourself a break. Relaxation can help too, like taking a walk, for example.
Yeah, those little things add up.
They really do. And it's also about being kinder to yourself. I've learned to stop being so hard on myself when I make mistakes.
That's a tough one for a lot of people. It's like taking care of your mind first so the overthinking doesn't spiral out of control.
It is. But overthinking often comes from this pressure to be perfect or to always get it right. So, if you can ease up on yourself, it helps you stop overthinking too. It's not always easy, but it's a step in the right direction.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for listening and spending time with us.
Thanks, Liam. Before we end, Let's go over some new words and phrases that might be unfamiliar. Overdrive, meaning a state of working too hard or thinking too much. Example, my brain goes into overdrive when I'm stressed. Draining, meaning causing you to feel very tired, mentally or physically. Example, overthinking all the time is emotionally draining. Going back and forth, meaning constantly changing your mind or debating between options. Example, I keep going back and forth on what to do next. Piles on, meaning adds more stress or difficulty to an already stressful situation. Example, overthinking just piles on more stress to an already hard day. Chaotic, meaning very disorganized or confused. Example, writing my thoughts down helps when my mind feels chaotic. Overwhelmed, meaning feeling like everything is too much to handle. Example, I get overwhelmed when I try to think about everything at once. Nitpicking, meaning focusing on small, unimportant details. Example, we wasted time nitpicking instead of just getting the job done. Momentum, meaning the ability to keep moving or making progress after starting something. Example, once we started acting instead of overthinking, we gained momentum and finished quickly. Feel free to listen back and try using some of these in your own conversations. Thank you again for joining us on English in Comfort. See you next time for more podcasts, English listening practice, and chill conversations. Take care, everyone.